Hey everyone, I'm back. Last night we talked about a 15-course French meal. So tonight let's talk about a different type of cuisine entirely. I learned today about a guy named Hector Boiardi who moved from Italy to the United States, to New York in particular, in 1914. But soon after that, he moved to Cleveland and he opened a restaurant called the Italian Immigrant that apparently was really popular. And I have a book. This is a great book. I hope you can see it here. See it? It's called How Italian Food Conquered the World by John F. Mariani. And so this is where I learned this information today about Hector Boiardi. He opened his restaurant, but he also canned his own sauce and made his own pasta, and he marketed it to a larger audience, including to soldiers in World War II. And they loved it, and apparently a lot of them had never had pasta with sauce before, so this was a new thing for them. They loved it, and when they got back from the war, they wanted more. So Hector Boiardi was very smart, and he decided to mass market his Italian food. You can probably see where this is going if you grew up in the United States, or at least if you grew up in the U.S. in the era when I grew up, because we ate a lot of Chef Boyardee products. And he changed his name. Well, he didn't change his name. His name was Boiardi, but he changed it to the phonetic Boiardi so that Americans could more easily pronounce it. And he made some of the first food that was advertised on TV. He is a big deal in the United States. If you're not from the United States, well, now you're learning something about American diet, the American diet, perhaps. I want to read you a really brief paragraph from this book. He writes, "No matter that most Italian Americans would be horrified by the idea of pre-cooked pasta and sauce, such products sold exceedingly well to other Americans who, having grown up on the iconic macaroni and cheese packaged as the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese Dinner, introduced in 1937, had no prior knowledge of what true Italian food should taste like. For them, Chef Boyardee products and rice-a-roni were Italian food." So did you eat Chef Boyardee when you were a kid? I remember my grandma served Chef Boyardee spaghetti in a can, and it was only once. She never served spaghetti. She made meat and potatoes, but one time she had Chef Boyardee spaghetti from a can, and I wouldn't eat it. I thought it was gross. So that wasn't actually my thing, but my mom's version of Italian food, she made a lot of good meals, but Italian food was simple in our house. It was the pre-packaged pasta put into a pot of boiling water, boiled very, very well, and then topped with some ragu sauce from the jar and the Kraft Parmesan from the green can. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. And that was my impression of Italian food when I was a little girl. So I hope you've learned something from this. The most important thing, the most interesting thing I learned was just that there really was a Chef Boyardee, Hector Boiardi, and he really was from Italy. Anyway, hope you have a good day, a good evening, and I'll be back tomorrow.